3 a.m. A beer in my hand. A text from Rachel. Hey, Tom. Need a favor? After I dropped $15,000 on our wedding. After she said my wife and kids didn't fit the vibe. Cancelled. The venue. The catering. The dress. She wanted perfect? She got it. I reckon I ain't the kind of guy who spills his guts to strangers, but here I am, sitting in my beat-up recliner at 3 in the morning, a cold beer sweating in my hand, typing this out on my phone like some fool who don't know better. Name's Tom Wheeler, and I'm just a regular fella from Tennessee, work hard, love my family, try to do right by folks. But last week, I turned into something else entirely, the guy who flipped his sister's whole world upside down. And I ain't sorry about it neither. See, I got a sister named Rachel. She's 4 years younger than me, always been the princess of the family, golden hair, big dreams, and a smile that could charm a rattlesnake. Me, I'm the rough around the edges type, running a small auto shop that keeps the lights on for my wife, Sarah, and our 2 boys, Jake and Cody. Life's been good to us, simple but solid. Rachel, though, she's always wanted more fancy clothes, big parties, a life that sparkles like a magazine cover. And when she got engaged to this slick city boy named Preston, I figured I'd help her get that dream wedding she was always yammering about. I went all out. Dropped 15 grand on a swanky venue, a big old barn turned into some kind of rustic chic palace with string lights and polished wood floors. Paid for the catering steak and shrimp, none of that cheap hot dog nonsense. Got her a dress that cost more than my truck, all lace and pearls, something a movie star might wear. Even shelled out for a flower wall that looked like it belonged in one of them Instagram pictures she's always posting. I ain't rich, but I saved up, took extra jobs fixing cars on weekends, 'cause I wanted Rachel to have her day. Big brother duty, right? Then, 2 nights before the wedding, she hit me with it. We were sitting at this ritzy steakhouse she picked, place so fancy the menus didn't even have prices. I showed up in my best flannel, feeling out of place next to her in her designer jacket, sipping some cocktail that probably cost half my weekly paycheck. She was tapping away on her phone, barely looking at me. When she said it, cool as you please. Oh, Tom, one thing, don't bring Sarah or the boys to the wedding, all right? They don't really match the vibe I'm going for. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth, a chunk of ribeye dangling. They're like a fool. What did you just say? I asked, thinking maybe I heard her wrong over the clinking glasses and soft jazz. She sighed, setting her phone down like I was a kid who didn't get it. Look, it's a classy affair, black tie, upscale guests, the whole deal. Sarah's great, but she's, kinda plain. And the boys? They just mess it up, running around, making noise. I need it to be perfect. Plain. That's the word she used for my Sarah, the woman who's stuck by me through every busted tire and late-night oil change, who makes the best biscuits this side of the Mississippi. And my boys, Jake's 10, Cody's 7, rowdy, sure, but they're my heart, my pride. I felt something hot twist in my chest, like a wrench slipping and stripping a bolt. But Rachel? She just kept scrawling, through her phone, acting like she didn't just gut punch me. So, let me get this right, I said, keeping my voice low so it didn't shake. I'm footing the bill for this whole shindig, venue, food, that dress, and you're telling me my family ain't good enough to show up? She smirked, like I was being dramatic. Come on, Tom, don't make it a thing. You're the best brother ever, that's why you're paying. Just do me this one favor, all right? I stared at her, that smirk burning into me like a brand. I could have yelled, could have flipped the table, but instead I leaned back, took a long sip of my beer, and nodded. Sure, Ratch, I said, real quiet. Whatever you want. She beamed, thinking she'd won. Thanks, Tom. You're the best. I didn't say another word. Finished my steak, paid the tab, of course I did, and walked out to my truck. Sat there in the parking lot for a minute, staring at the dashboard. Then I pulled out my phone and dialed my buddy Mike, who's been my right-hand man at the shop since we were kids. Hey, Mike, I said when he picked up. You still got that crazy idea from last summer? 'Cause I need a favor. Wedding's in 2 days, and we're gonna make it one hell of a show. He laughed on the other end. Oh, man, you serious? What did she do now? Enough, I said. Just get it ready. I'll handle the rest. Looking back, I should have seen it coming. Rachel's always had this way of looking down her nose at us. First time I brought Sarah home to meet the family, Rachel was 16, all dolled up in some sparkly top she'd begged Mom for. Sarah's sweet, shy Sarah brought a pan of cornbread she'd made from scratch, hoping to win him over. Mom and Dad loved it. But Rachel? She wrinkled her nose, poked at it with a fork, and said, Oh, you actually cook stuff like this? That's quaint. Later, I found that cornbread in the trash, not a bite taken. Should have known then she'd never see us as equals. But I kept giving her chances, kept hoping she'd grow out of that high-and-mighty streak. Guess I was wrong. Now here I am, nursing this beer, thinking about what went down at that wedding. Rachel wanted perfect? Oh, I gave her something all right, something she ain't never gonna forget. And when the dust settled, I reckon I came out the winner. But that's a story for tomorrow night's beer. For now, I'll just say this. Family's supposed to lift you up, not kick you down. And when they do, Well, sometimes you gotta kick back. It's been a week since Rachel's wedding, or what was supposed to be her wedding, and I'm still replaying it all in my head like some movie I can't turn off. Last chapter, I told you how my sister dropped that bomb on me, telling me my wife and kids weren't fancy enough for her big day. Well, that was just the start. Tonight, I'll fill you in on what came next, how I set the stage for the reckoning. After that steakhouse showdown, I drove home with my hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. Sarah was waiting up for me, sitting on the couch in her old flannel pajamas, folding laundry while the boys slept upstairs. She's got this quiet way about her, never pushes, just watches me with those hazel eyes till I spill what's eaten me. I plopped down next to her, kicked off my boots, and let it out. Rachel says you and the boys can't come to the wedding, I said, staring at the floor. Says you don't fit her classy vibe. Sarah stopped folding, a pair of Cody Spider-Man socks in her hands. She didn't cry or yell, just looked at me, real steady. She said that, she asked, voice soft but sharp, like a knife hiding in cotton. Yup, I said, right to my face, like it was nothing. After I paid for every damn thing. She nodded slow, setting the socks down. What are you gonna do, Tom? I rubbed my jaw, feeling the stubble scratch under my fingers. Dunno yet, but I ain't letting it slide. Sarah smiled, just a little one, the kind that says she trusts me to figure it out. You're a good man, Tom Wheeler. Whatever you do, I'm with you. That's Sarah for you, solid as a rock, even when folks like Rachel treat her like dirt. Been that way since we met, back when I was just a grease monkey with a broke-down Chevy and big dreams. First time I took her to meet my folks, she was nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Made a peach cobbler to bring along, spent all day on it, fussing over the crust till it was perfect. My mom hugged her, Dad grunted his approval, but Rachel? She was 18 then, strutting around in heels she could barely walk in, acting like she was too good for us all. She took one look at that cobbler, smirked, and said, "Ah, that's sweet. Did your grandma teach you that recipe?" Didn't even try it, just left it sitting on the counter till Mom threw it out the next day. Sarah never said a word, but I saw the hurt in her eyes. Should have called Rachel out right then, but I didn't. Kept the peace instead. Big mistake. Over the years, it got worse. Rachel'd forget to tell Sarah about family picnics, make little digs about her Walmart jeans or how she cut the boys' hair herself to save money. Once, at Thanksgiving, she introduced Sarah to her snooty college friends as Tom's little homemaker, said it with a laugh, like it was a joke, but I saw Sarah's shoulders stiffen. I let it go too many times, thinking Rachel'd grow up someday. But that wedding nonsense? That was the line in the sand. Next morning, I woke up with a plan brewing. Called Mike while I was frying eggs for the boys. You still got them pigs from your cousin's farm? I asked, keeping my voice low so Sarah wouldn't hear. Mike chuckled. Yeah, man, for of him. Why? Get him ready, I said. And call Jimmy, he's got that projector from the 4th of July party. I need it. Tom, what the hell you cooking up? Mike asked, but I could hear the grin in his voice. Something special for Rachel, I said. She wants a fancy wedding. She's gonna get one. He laughed so hard I had to pull the phone away from my ear. You're a crazy son of a gun, Wheeler. I'm in. By noon, I'd hashed it out. Mike was rounding up the pigs for fat, squealing hogs his cousin kept for bacon. Jimmy was bringing the projector and a speaker system he'd rigged up for outdoor movies. I spent the afternoon digging through old voicemails and text Rachel sent me over the years, little jabs about Sarah, the boys, me being a softie who'd always bail her out. Recorded 'em all on my phone, patched 'em together into a nice little audio show. Wasn't hard to find the dirt. Rachel loved running her mouth when she thought I'd just take it. That night, I sat Sarah down again. I'm going to the wedding tomorrow, I said. Alone, like she wants. But I got something planned. She raised an eyebrow. Something legal, I hope? I grinned. Mostly. Just trust me. She shook her head. Logan soft. I always do. Day of the wedding rolled around, and I put on my best suit, black, a little tight, round the shoulders, but good enough. Drove to the venue alone, windows down, country radio blaring. Pulled into the lot and saw it all. That barn decked out like a palace, fancy cars lined up, folks in tuxes and gowns sipping cocktails on the lawn. Rachel's dream come true, all on my dime. I parked my truck between a BMW and a Lexus, grabbed my phone, and texted Mike. We're on. Bring the goods. Inside, it was like stepping into someone else's life. Waiters floating around with trays of tiny food, a string quartet playing something soft and snooty, flowers everywhere, roses, lilies, stuff I couldn't name. Rachel was up front, glowing in that dress I'd paid for, chatting with Preston and his rich buddies. She saw me, waved like nothing was wrong, and I waved back, smiling big. She had no clue what was coming. I found my seat, nodded at a few cousins who looked confused I was solo, and waited. Ceremony started, Preston at the altar, music swelling, Rachel floating down the aisle like a queen. Halfway down, Mike texted me. Pigs are here. Projector's set. Say when. I leaned back, folded my arms, and whispered to myself, showtime. The place is packed with fancy folks, Preston City friends, some of Rachel's old sorority girls, a few family members who don't know the half of what's brewing. I'm smiling, nodding at folks, playing the good brother while my phone buzzes in my pocket with Mike's text. Pigs are here. Projector's set. Say when. My heart's thumping like a jackhammer, but I keep it cool. This is it, the moment I turn Rachel's perfect day into something she'll never live down. The preacher's just starting his spiel, something about love and commitment, when I give Mike the signal. Now, I text back, slipping the phone into my jacket. Rachel's standing there, holding Preston's hands, looking smug as a cat with a mouse, when the first surprise rolls in. One of the venue staff, some kid I slipped $20 to earlier, wheels out this big wooden crate, painted up real nice with whitewash and a red ribbon. It's sitting smack in the middle of the aisle, blocking Rachel's path back. She stops, tilts her head, and shoots me this sugary grin. Tom, what's this? She calls out, loud enough for everyone to hear. I stand up, brush off my pants, and shrug. Just a little wedding gift, sis. Go on, open it. The crowd's whispering, craning, their necks to see. Rachel's bridesmaids, 4 gals in matching pink dresses, giggle and nudge one of them forward. She tugs the ribbon, the crate pops open, and then, Lord have mercy, all hell breaks loose. For pigs, fat, muddy, squealing hogs come barreling out like they've been cooped up for days. One charges straight for the flower wall, knocking it flat with a crash. Another plows into the cake table, sending 3 tiers of vanilla frosting splattering across the floor. The third pig runs circles round the guests, leaving muddy hoof prints on silk dresses and shiny shoes. And the fourth? That one takes a shine to Rachel, latches onto her dress with its teeth, ripping a chunk of lace clean off while she shrieks like a banshee. People are jumping out of their seats, hollering, tripping over chairs. Some lady in a feathered hat screams bloody murder as a pig snuffles her purse. Preston's dad, a big-shot lawyer, tries to shoo one away with his cane and ends up flat on his back in a pile of shrimp cocktail. Rachel spinning in circles, swat in at the pig chewin, her train, yelling, Tom, what is this? Get them out. I just stand there, hands in my pockets, watching the chaos unfold. Thought you wanted a classy affair, I call out over the noise. Figured some livestock liven it up. But that's just the opener. While Rachel's still flailing, the barn lights flicker, and Jimmy's projector kicks on. Up on the wall, big as life, plays my little audio masterpiece. It's Rachel's voice, clear as day, from all the messages she didn't think I'd keep. First clip, Sarah's nice and all, but she's so basic, can't believe Tom married her. Second one, my brother's such a pushover, he'll fork over cash whenever I ask. Third, Jake and Cody at my wedding? No way, they're too loud and messy. And the kicker, Tom's just a small-town loser who got lucky. I deserve better than his family. The barn goes dead quiet, except for the pigs grunting and a few gasps from the crowd. Rachel's face goes white as a sheet, her mouth hanging open. Preston drops her hands like they're hot coals, staring at her like you don't even know her. His mom, a prim little woman in pearls, clutches her chest and whispers something fierce to his dad. The guests start murmuring, pulling out phones to record. Rachel spins toward me, eyes blazing. You did this, she screeches, pointing a shaky finger. I step forward, grab the mic from the preacher, who's too stunned to stop me, and keep my voice steady. Nah, Rachel, you did this. Them's your words, not mine. I just let everybody hear him. She lunges for me, but I sidestep, cool as a cucumber. Oh, and that big gift I promised? The new truck I was going to give you and Preston? Changed my mind. Just signed it over to the county food bank, figured they could use it to haul groceries for folks who ain't too proud to say thanks. Her jaw drops. Preston's mom lets out a little, oh my, and his dad stands up, red-faced, muttering about disgraceful behavior. Rachel's bridesmaids scatter, trying to herd the pigs, but it's no use. Those hogs are having the time of their lives. Then Preston, quiet till now, shakes his head, looks at Rachel one last time, and walks out the side door. Just like that, groom's gone. Wedding's toast. Security shows up quick, 2 big fellas in black polos, hauling Rachel out of there while she's still yelling my name like a curse. Guests are buzzing, some Logan, some filming the whole mess. I tip my head to Mike and Jimmy, who are grinning like fools by the projector, and stroll out to my truck. Ain't no point sticking around for the aftermath. Drove straight home, still in that suit, and found Sarah waiting on the porch with a glass of sweet tea. How'd it go? She asked, eyebrows up. Pigs ran wild, her true colors came out, and Preston bailed, I said, talking to tea. She got what she had coming. Sarah laughed, first time I'd heard her really laugh in weeks. You're something else, Tom Wheeler. Told you I'd handle it, I said, sitting beside her. Jake and Cody came barreling out, a skin if the pigs were real, and we spent the night eating pizza and telling stories. Felt good, knowing my family was safe from Rachel's nonsense. But I knew it wasn't over, she'd come swinging back. And sure enough, she did. That's for next time though. Right now, I'm finishing this beer and calling it a night. Well, it's been 10 days since Rachel's wedding turned into a pigpen circus, and I'm sitting on my back deck tonight, staring at the fire pit crackling away, a mason jar of moonshine in my hand. Courtesy of Mike's uncle who brews it out in the hills. The boys are inside, playing some video game with spaceships, and Sarah's humming in the kitchen, baking a batch of cookies. Life's feeling pretty alright for me right now, but Rachel? Oh, she's a whole different story. That stunt I pulled lit a match under her perfect little world, and the flames are still burning hot. The morning after the wedding, my phone started blowing up, texts, calls, voicemails, you name it. Rachel first, of course, leaving messages so full of cussin', I reckoned she'd make a sailor blush. Tom, you ruined my life, she screamed in one. Fix this, you jerk, or I swear I'll make you pay. I didn't answer, figured she'd tire herself out eventually. Then came Mom and Dad, Callan from their place 2 towns over, sounding all worried. Thomas James Wheeler, Mom said, using my full name like I was still a kid caught stealing cookies. What in the world did you do to your sister? Didn't pick up for them either. I was done explaining myself. By noon that day, the real chaos kicked in. Turns out some of them fancy guests had their phones out during the pig parade and the audio show. Clips hit the internet faster than a jackrabbit on a date, Twitter, TikTok, even them local Facebook groups where folks gossip about yard sales. Tennessee wedding goes hog wild, one headline read. Bride's big day ruined by brother's revenge, said another. The video of Rachel screaming at that pig ripping her dress? Over 1 million views in 12 hours. Folks online were eating it up, comments like she had it coming, pigs were the real MVPs, and that brother's a legend. Even saw one saying, donated truck to the food bank? Class act. Made me chuckle, but I ain't gonna lie, it felt good seeing people take my side. Rachel, though? She was losing her mind. Preston dumped her that night, texted her something short and sweet, according to our cousin Lisa who still talks to her. His folks were mortified. Big shot city people don't take kindly to public humiliation, especially not with pigs involved. Her sorority pals ghosted her, too. Guess they didn't want to be tied to the pig bride trending online. By Monday, word got round she'd been let go from her job, some cushy gig at a boutique in Nashville selling overpriced handbags. Boss said the bad press was killing their brand image. Ain't that a kicker? She spent years building this shiny life, and it crumbled faster than a stale biscuit. About 3 days after the wedding, she showed up at my shop. I was under a Ford F-150, wrenching on a busted axle, when I heard her heels clicking on the concrete. Crawled out, wiped the grease off my hands, and there she was, hair a mess, no makeup, wearing sweatpants instead of her usual designer getup. Tom, she said, voice all shaky, we need to talk. I leaned against the truck, crossing my arms. All right, talk. She took a deep breath, eyes darting around like she was scared someone'd overhear. You've got to fix this. Tell everyone it was a prank, that I didn't mean those things. I'm a Logan stock, Preston's gone, my job's gone, my friends won't even text me back. I've got nothing left. I squinted at her, letting the words hang there for a sec. Fix it. I said slow. Rachel, I didn't post them videos, your guests did. I didn't make you say that crap about my family. You did that all on your own. You're standing in a hole you dug yourself. Her face twisted up, red and blotchy. I didn't mean it, Tom. I was just, I don't know, stressed, trying to keep up appearances. You know how it is. Nah, I said, shaking my head. I don't. 'Cause I don't trash my own blood to look good for strangers. You called Sarah basic, said my boys were messy. You treated us like we're beneath you, and I still paid for your damn wedding. And what did I get? A slap in the face. She started crying, then big, ugly sobs. Please, Tom, I'm begging you. Help me. I looked at her, the sister I'd been over backwards for since we were kids, and felt nothing. No anger, no pity, just a big empty spot where that guilt used to live. Can't help you, Ratch, I said. You made your bed. Sleep in it. Turned back to the truck and slid under it, leaving her standing there bawling. She left after a while, heels clicking away, and I figured that'd be the end of it. But nope, Mom and Dad got wind of her crashing and burned out life, and by Friday, they were on my doorstep. I was grilling burgers in the backyard with Sarah and the boys when they pulled up in their old Buick. Mom marched right over, hands on her hips. Tom, you've gone too far, she said. Rachel's a wreck, she's got no one, no money, nothing. You need to step up and help her. I flipped a burger, didn't even look up. She's a wreck 'cause she treated us like trash, Mom. I ain't her ATM or her doormat no more. Dad chimed in, voice gruff. She's your sister, son. Family sticks together. Funny how that only matters now she's down, I said, setting the spatula down. Where was family when she told me my wife and kids weren't good enough? Y'all didn't say a word then. They stood there, quiet, 'cause they knew I was right. Mom's lip quivered, but she didn't argue. Just think about it, she said finally, and they left. I watched him go, then turned back to Sarah, who was smiling, soft at me over her lemonade. You okay? She asked. Better than ever, I said, and meant it. Rachel's world was falling apart. But mine was holding strong. Still, I knew she wouldn't let it lie. She's too stubborn for that. And sure enough, she came back swinging. It's a chilly night out here on my porch, about 2 weeks since Rachel showed up at my shop crying her eyes out. I'm sitting in my old lawn chair, bundled in a flannel jacket, sipping a hot coffee laced with a splash of bourbon, just enough to take the edge off. The crickets are chirping loud tonight, and I can hear Jake and Cody Logan inside, wrestling over the remote. Sarah's in there too, calling him to settle down before bed. Life's good for us wheelers these days, but Rachel? She's still trying to claw her way back from the mess she made. Tonight, I'll tell you how she tried to play the comeback card, and how it flopped hard. After that showdown at the shop, I figured Rachel might lay low, lick her wounds a bit. But nah, she's too proud for that. About a week ago, I started hearing whispers, folks at the gas station, guys dropping off cars at my shop, even Sarah's friend from the hair salon, all saying Rachel was up to something. Turns out, she'd been posting online again, trying to spin the whole wedding disaster into some kind of redemption story. She put up these long, weepy captions on Instagram, pictures of her in plain clothes, no makeup, sitting on a park bench looking all sad. Learning from my mistakes, she wrote. Sometimes you gotta fall to find yourself. Bunch of hogwash, if you ask me, but some folks were buying it, leaving comments like, you're so brave, and everyone deserves a second chance. I didn't pay it much mind till she took it a step further. See, my auto shop's been doing real well since the wedding went viral, people coming from all over just to shake my hand, saying they loved how I stood up for my family. Business boomed, enough that I hired 2 new guys and started planning a second location out near Knoxville. Rachel must have caught wind of it, cause last Friday, she showed up at my house uninvited, naturally, right as we were finishing supper. I was clearing plates, meatloaf and mashed potatoes, Sarah's specialty, when the doorbell rang. Opened it, and there she was, looking a little better than last time, a hair combed, wearing a cheap sweater and jeans, but still with that desperate glint in her eyes. Hey, Tom, she said, voice all soft and sweet, like she hadn't spent the last month cursing my name. Can I come in? Sarah poked her head round the corner, wiping her hands on a dish towel, and gave me a look that said, your call. I sighed, stepped aside. Fine, but don't expect a warm welcome. She shuffled in, clutching a little purse, and sat at the kitchen table. The boys peeked in, curious, but Sarah shooed him upstairs. Rachel waited till it was just us 3, then started her pitch. I've been thinking a lot, she said, folding her hands real proper. I messed up, Tom. I know that. I was selfish, stuck up, and I hurt you and Sarah bad. I'm sorry. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. All right. You're sorry. What's this really about? She swallowed, glanced at Sarah, then back at me. I need a job. I've got nothing, no money, no friends, just a crummy apartment I can barely afford. You're doing so good with the shop now, and I thought, maybe you could use some help. I could answer phones, do paperwork, whatever you need. Sarah raised an eyebrow but stayed quiet. I let the silence stretch, watching Rachel squirm. A job, I said finally. You want to work for me? Yeah, she nodded quick. I'd start over, prove I've changed. I'd be grateful, Tom. I scratched my chin, letting her stew a minute. Part of me wondered if she meant it, maybe losing. Everything had knocked some sense into her. But then I remembered all them years of snide remarks, the wedding, her Callan, my family trash. Why should I hire you? I asked. What do you bring to my shop? She blinked, caught off guard. I'm family. I can learn fast. I'd work hard. Family, I repeated, letting the word hang heavy. Family didn't stop you from trashing Sarah to your friends. Didn't stop you from acting like my boys were some kind of nuisance. And hard work? Rachel, you ain't never lifted a finger, lest it was to point it at somebody else. Her face flushed, eyes watering. That's not fair. I'm trying to change. Are you? I said, stepping closer. Or are you just scared cause you hit rock bottom? My shop's thriving without you. I build it with Sarah, with my boys cheering me on, with folks who respect us. You don't get to waltz in now cause your fancy life fell apart. She stood up, chair scrapping the floor, tears spilling over. I don't have anywhere else to go, Tom. Please, I'm begging you. I looked at Sarah, who just shook her head real slow. No, I said, voice firm. You made your choices, Rachel. I ain't your safety net no more. She stared at me, breathing hard, then grabbed her purse and bolted out the door, slamming it behind her. I heard her car peel out of the driveway, tires squealing, like she couldn't get away fast enough. Sarah came over, slipped her arm round my waist. You did the right thing, she said quiet. Hope so, I muttered, pulling her close. But I reckon she ain't done yet. And I was right. 2 days later, I got a call from Dad. Tom, he said, sounding tired, Rachel's in a bad way. She's talking about leaving town, starting over somewhere else. She's hurting, son. She brought it on herself, I said. I ain't bending this time. He sighed. We know we let her get out of hand. Just, don't close the door forever, all right? Didn't close it, I said. She burned it down. Hung up, and that was that. Rachel's comeback fizzled out, and I figured she'd fade away for good. But life's got a way of throwing curveballs, and she had one more swing left. That's for the last chapter. Coming, up next. It's been a month since Rachel's failed plea at my kitchen table, and I'm out here in the garage again, tinkering, with an old Harley a customer dropped off. The air's crisp tonight, smelling like pine and motor oil, and I've got a lantern glowing on the workbench next to a cold root beer. Sarah's inside reading to the boys some book about pirates, and I can hear their giggles through the screen door. It's peaceful, the kind of quiet I've earned after all this mess with Rachel. Tonight's the final chapter, folks, the end of her story and the start of something better for me. After I turned her down for that job, Rachel went quiet for a bit. No more weepy posts online, no calls, no showing up unannounced. I thought maybe she'd finally got the hint, moved on, found her own way. My shop kept growing. We opened at second location in Knoxville last week. Cut the ribbon with the boys holding big scissors for the pictures. Sarah's been helping out, running the books, and folks love her warm smile when they walk in. Life's rolling smooth, like a fresh paved highway. Then, 3 days ago, I got a surprise. Was closing up the shop, wiping down tools, locking the bays, when a beat-up Honda pulled into the lot. Door creaked open, and out stepped Rachel. She looked different, hair pulled back in a messy bun, wearing a plain coat and sneakers, carrying a duffel bag slung over her shoulder. No trace of that high and mighty spark she used to have. I set my rag down, braced myself. "What now, wretch?" I asked, keeping my tone even. She didn't meet my eyes at first, just stared at the gravel, kicking a pebble with her toe. "I'm leaving, Tom," she said finally. "Going to Georgia. Got a cousin down there who says I can crash till I figure things out." I nodded slow. "All right. Good luck with that." She looked up then, eyes red but dry. "I ain't here to fight. I wanted to say something before I go." She took a shaky breath. "I was wrong. About you, Sarah, the boys, everything. I got so caught up trying to be somebody big, I forgot what mattered. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm sorry. Really." I studied her face, looking for the catch, but there wasn't one, just a tired girl who'd run out of steam. "Appreciate you saying it," I said. "Means something, even if it's late." She gave a small nod, shifted her back. "I ain't gonna ask for nothing. Just take care of Mom and Dad, okay? They're beat up over this." "They'll be fine," I said. "We all will." She stood there a sec longer, like she wanted to say more, then turned and climbed back in her car. Watched her taillights fade down the road till they were gone. Didn't feel mad, didn't feel happy, just done. Like closing a book you've read too many times. Next day, Mom called. "Rachel's gone," she said, voice wobbly. "Left a note saying she's sorry and needs a fresh start." "Did we push her too hard, Tom?" "Nah," I said, leaning on my truck's hood. "She pushed herself. Took her a while to see it, but maybe she's learning now." Dad got on the line, gruff as ever. "You could have helped her, son. She's family." "Family don't mean I take every hit she swings," I said. "She's got to stand on her own 2 feet. I did for years." They didn't argue. Think they knew I was right. "We're proud of you, Tom," Mom said soft. "You and Sarah, you're good people." "Thanks," I said, and hung up. First time in a long while they'd said that, and it felt nice, but I didn't need it. I've got my crew, Sarah, Jake, Cody, and that's enough. Now, here I am, finishing this Harley and this story. Rachel's in Georgia, last I heard, working at a diner, trying to rebuild. She texts Mom sometimes, sounds humbled, but we don't talk. My shop's a local legend. Folks still joke about the pigs, and Sarah's talking about starting a little garden out back for the boys to tend. Yesterday, Cody asked, "Daddy, is Aunt Rachel coming back?" "Dunno, bud," I said, ruffling his hair. "But we're doing just fine without her." And we are. No more drama, no more guilt, just a simple life with the people who matter. I reckon that's the real win. So here's to that, the family you choose, and to leaving the rest behind. I'm calling it a night, folks. Time to hug my boys and kiss my wife goodnight.